What is up? What is up? Welcome back to another NFL rundown brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. JSU and I took care of the NBA earlier while Tyler was plugging away at our NFL knowledge. So Tyler, man, we got a lot of news to talk about. The sporting world is upside down right now. This is some of the biggest uncertainty we've definitely seen since, this all started back up, last August or whatever. How are you navigating all this crazy NFL news we're getting today?
I mean, it's pretty tough. The COVID lists are getting longer and longer, and then you got to deal with the injury reports. But you just got to pay attention to key names and key positions and all that. But we'll find the winner still. It's tough, but we'll find them.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have confidence in you and your ability. But I was thinking, boy, the prop show tomorrow might be tough for us, right? I mean, are they listing anything yet?
I mean, they have some listed right now, but usually they have some already listed. Like DraftKings will list some early ones, but we don't have like most of the guys we'd be looking for yet.
Yeah. It's funny because the reason we pushed the show back from Tuesday to Thursday was to kind of have a handle on the news.
And the news just got worse this week.
Yeah, I mean, we're still, like, what was that movie with Sandra Bullock where they're all blind? Like, that feels like us. That is what we're trying to do. But one thing we can do is break down tonight's game because I think this one's pretty clear. We have pretty clear injury reports. Obviously, only 3 hours for everything to get upset here on the apple cart. And the line is the Kansas City Chiefs -3. This will be in Los Angeles. The Chargers will have home field advantage, whatever that's worth for the Chargers fans. Chiefs fans might overrun that stadium again. The total's 54. Tyler, the Chiefs obviously coming off, the absolute shellacking of the Raiders, and the Chargers were able to squeak out a win last week. This game means a lot now for the AFC West division and who will be the champion there. What are your thoughts on tonight's Thursday night football game?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a very tough game. I think the under is like a very good play at 54. You look at the injury reports and the COVID list, you have Chris Jones, who's a key piece on that Kansas City's defensive line. He's out. And Rashawn Slater, one of the best rookie offensive linemen, is out for the Chargers. So I could see maybe Herbert doing a bit more running tonight. But I also think Kansas City might not get as much pressure on the quarterback, so he might not have to run. So it's going to be a wait and feel approach there. You look at the injury report, Eckler's still questionable, but he was a limited participant. They said he's probably going to go. And they're probably getting Asante Samuel and Derwin James back, which makes me like their defense even better. So that's what makes me lean more towards the under. And the Chiefs have been riding high, but I think it's a lot of beating up on your team spread with the Raiders that makes them look good. I like the Chargers here in this spot to get the job done. Maybe even just teasing them up through the key numbers of 6 and 7.
We love those teasers. 9. We've done pretty well on those so far, so I can grab them at +3 right now. That would bring them all the way to +9. But of course, we will have to find an appropriate teaser partner. So we will attempt to do that, navigating through all this injury news. So, I know you're pretty good on the sides. I know you're pretty good on the totals. But when it comes to props, one of the best in the business. What props do you have lined up for this evening?
Yeah, looking at this one, I like, just like I was talking about Herbert's rushing yards over 15.5. I think he's going to do a lot of running here with Eckler banged up. And then I was looking at the anytime touchdown parlays, or not parlays, just the anytime touchdown scorers. You got Mike Williams at +175. He could definitely get down the sideline on this defense and catch a touchdown. And then they were using Josh Palmer a bit more, the rookie receiver. I know they have Allen back, but he's still not a bad price at +350.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. And of course, Mike Williams, most likely to miss tonight. Am I correct there?
No, he's most likely to play.
Oh, most likely to play. Okay. Yeah. Oh, my bad. I'm reading this injury report. I'm so used to Basketball Monster. He had a full practice. So Mike Williams will be back. So very interesting there. Tyler likes the Chargers. And hey, I'll go along with you. I think you do have a good point that the Chiefs kind of, they got their groove back against a team that really is not that good in the Las Vegas Raiders. And that's a perfect segue to move. We have Saturday football this week now that college football is over. And the first game on our agenda is the Las Vegas Raiders, who are -1 heading to Cleveland to take on the Browns. And we spoke about how COVID is running rampant through the league, and the Browns are one of the hardest hit teams. I know this is tough, Tyler, and if you if you say, hey, we don't need to get involved in this game right now because of all the uncertainty, I'm fine with that. But how are you approaching this Raiders versus Browns game?
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, I think the only way you can bet this is the Raiders. I know it's going to sound like just a square way to go with all the guys on the COVID list, but it's key guys in key positions. I mean, there's 2 guys off the offensive line. You got guys off the defensive line. You got tight ends. You got wide receivers. You got the quarterback. You got the head coach. Like, the team's decimated worse than the Raiders are at this point, spread. Like, if there was ever a get-right spot for Derek Carr and these guys, like, they could stumble into a win right here. So, I like them here to get the job done. It's pretty much what I'm picking right now, -1.
Yeah, I see the Raiders -1. This number, and as we're talking, it's gone off the board.
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say, I know you're missing a lot of the line value there because the Raiders were an underdog earlier in the week. But with all the news, most books had it pulled off anyway. So I like the Raiders to win this game.
Yeah, and we've talked about this on the live show before, right? That there's information-based news and then there's market-based news. I don't worry on information-based line movements as much as I do just the market, right? If the line's moving and there hasn't been any discernible information to move it that way, then yeah, you probably are late to the party. Don't want to get the worst of the number there. But when you're acting with information that you didn't have earlier in the week, hey, just go ahead and reset it. I'm not worried that there was a +6 earlier in the week. Let's deal with the information that we have now. And I think that that's fair for you. So, hey, maybe I'll throw my Raiders sweatshirt on and we'll get a victory. Although team has not been playing well. See if they get right versus the Browns. The evening game, boy, that's going to have some implications too, right? New England Patriots are +2.5, heading to Indianapolis to take on the Colts -2.5. That line tells me that these teams are power ranked even. Does that seem right to you? I have the Patriots 1 or 2 points better than the Colts.
I think it's a lot closer than I know the Patriots are riding high right now. Everyone's penciling them in best team in the AFC. I still think the AFC is like a group of teams at the top and then a couple of teams on the outside looking in at that group trying to get in. And then just the rest of the teams on the outside of that looking in. But I think the Colts are top 3 in the AFC because I think they're better than the Bills. The Chargers are still inconsistent. That leaves New England and Kansas City. Who else would be better than them at that point? Baltimore's falling apart. Cincinnati's also inconsistent. So they have to be a top 3 team in the AFC. I actually think they're going to win this game too. This is going to be the toughest spot it's going to be a toughest game for New England in a while. It's going to be a spot where they're going to maybe see this team again in the playoffs. And just like the Chiefs, they've been riding high. They're due for a dud. So I think this is going to be where they lay their egg. Jonathan Taylor runs all over them.
Yeah, that'll be interesting because New England does have a great run defense. They are good at scheming to take away the best options on a team. You take away Jonathan Taylor and you get Carson Wentz in a shootout. Can I trust Carson Wentz? I mean, how are you approaching that, right? Because even though he's a rookie, right, I almost feel I can trust Mac Jones a little more not to make those back-breaking mistakes. How are you approaching the quarterback matchup in this game?
I mean, I'd still probably take Mac Jones because he's safer with the ball, but I think Carson Wentz can get the job done. He's just got to be a little more protective of the ball. And I also think Jonathan Taylor is going to have a lot more effect than just how Bill Belichick always takes your best player out.
Yeah.
Like he's tried to do that to Derrick Henry and he's not been able to do that. Jonathan Taylor's on a tear. I think he's just going to walk right through that this week.
All right. And Kyle Alexander joining us in the chat with the Chicago Bears logo. So I can't wait to talk about that team. So Tyler likes the Raiders and the Colts on Saturday. It's pretty cool to have the football back on the Saturday, right? It just makes the weekend a little better. I do enjoy the college, but I do also enjoy some NFL standalone games on Saturday. Let's move on to Sunday. And this game, the line, we talked about the line movement with the Browns. Let's just get all these crazy line movements out of the way right now on the show, Tyler. It'll be 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Pacific. Washington football team's now catching 9.5 because they have 21 people on the COVID reserve list. I would read them all off, but we want to finish this show before the game kicks off tonight. The Eagles are now -9.5 in a divisional game. This is wild, Tyler, and this is also unprecedented territory for us as handicappers. Don't remember a time when you just took 21 names off the list for a team. The two that stood out to me right now, obviously, you spend more time on the NFL than me, but hey, I still know some stuff too. I see all the centers on the list. That has to be a problem, right? Every single center right? So are you going to bring in a new guy? I mean, that's not like plugging in a running back or a wide receiver. Hey, run this route. There's a lot of continuity and just time built and trust between his center and his quarterback. That really worries me and makes me think that this line movement is justified. How are you approaching this game?
Yeah, I mean, this game's tough, but you look at this list. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these guys. So
7
1/3
defensive linemen.
Yep.
Yeah, I knew that too.
It's tearing apart their best attribute of their team.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're going to have a lot of trouble on defense. Heineke still could be able to put up some points. Terry McLaurin is dealing with a concussion, but he could be back as he was a limited participant today in practice.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good sign. And then I don't see anybody else. No Gibson on this report, so he could run against this Philly team. But, I mean, 9's a lot spread, so I don't want to lay that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe teasing them down to right around 3, maybe even 2.5 if you can get a flat 9. I don't mind that.
Okay. Yeah, I think this game's wild. I can't wait to see if they even have props for it when we do the prop show tomorrow. But hey, Tyler, if you said, hey, I'm completely staying away from this game, I don't think that you're going to get objections from too many.
I kind of like the over because I could see, or maybe Philly team total over. Uh-huh. Philly has been putting up points. I mean, I know I've shit on them all year, but Washington defense is decimated now. This could be the spot where they just put up like a 40-point game.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. I mean, Philadelphia definitely a team that yo-yos, right? I mean, some weeks they look like a playoff team. Other weeks they look like they should be in the running for a top 5 draft pick. So, okay, can't wait to see how this one turns out. And most likely we'll be watching as a fan and not as a bettor. Let's talk about the Carolina Panthers, who are now plus 11 heading to Buffalo to take on your Bills. Or not your Bills, but the Bills. The Bills minus 11 right now. Total is 44.5. Tyler, you put the Colts ahead of the Bills here, but this is a game, right? They can get their power rating up, with a big win, get their mojo back. And what better team to do it against than the Panthers, who, well, it was pretty cool that Cam Newton, scored that touchdown and said he was back. Hasn't really done a lot since then. Him and PJ Walker are almost platooning, which to me can't be good. I saw that Sam Darnold came off the injury reserve. I don't even know how much of an upgrade that is. Christian McCaffrey obviously out for the year. Panthers defense is okay, but in the NFL nowadays, the way they officiate it, a good offense beats a good defense. Bills minus 11. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, big number. Don't want to lay it, but also don't trust the Panthers to keep it within 11.
Right.
I kind of like the under because I could see the Bills defense just stifling this Cam-led offense that just stinks right now. Mm-hmm. And Carolina's defense is also good enough to give a banged up Josh Allen some trouble. So that under 44.5, I don't mind. It'll also be being played in Buffalo, so weather could be a factor here.
How much do you think that injury is affecting Allen right now? Because he's definitely not the player he was last season.
Oh, I mean, I also think last year was more like what do they call that? Like an aberration from like his normal play. So I definitely think that was more like an aberration last year, and this is more like the player he is. Like he has his good games, but then he'll go on stretches where he has very bad games. He's not just going to tear off like 14 games in a row of just killing teams.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But if there's any game to remind everyone that he was in the MVP conversation earlier in the year, it would be against the Carolina Panthers at home. Let's go on to another big spread here. Boy, we got a lot of big spreads to start this Sunday morning or afternoon if you're on the East Coast. The New York Jets plus 9.5 going against the Miami Dolphins minus 9.5. The Dolphins, we kind of wrote them off. They started 1-7. I think they're 6-7 right now, I believe. Winners of 5 in a row, getting things right. Under head coach Brian Flores, your guy, Tua's doing a little better. How are you approaching this game?
Yeah, I mean, another one, giant number. I kind of like Miami here to cover it, though, because I don't think the Jets are going to put up many points, if any, in this matchup. I think Miami could stifle them. Zach Wilson could throw a couple picks and leaving Miami in short field position. So I don't mind that. Let's take a look at their team total, though, because I see it's a low total at 41. So Miami's team total is 25.5. I think they're good for at least 21 just on their offense alone. Now, if they get an interception or a fumble recovery, I think they're definitely getting up closer to 30. So I like that over 25.5.
I can't wait till tomorrow when we talk interception props, Tyler, because I want to see.
Oh, it's going to be set at 1.5 spread.
Is it? We'll get plus money, though, right?
It's been set at 1.5 for like the past 3 weeks.
Total here, 41. Okay, so let's rewind 10 years, right? When I was younger, when I had more hair, right? A little more good looking. If you told me a total of 41, I would take the points almost always. I don't know if I can do it this week. What do you think of the total of 41?
Partially leaning under because I don't think the Jets are going to score, but I could see the Dolphins putting up a ton of points here, but I don't think they're going to be able to get you up over that 41 on their own.
Mm-hmm.
So I would partially lean to the under, but mostly a stay away spot.
All right, just a quick reminder, this show is brought to you by Run Pure Bets. If you want to check out all the great information that Run Pure has to offer, head on over to runpurebets.com. Use the promo code BETS25 off to become a member. The Dallas Cowboys -11 headed to New York to take on the Giants. The Giants +11. Tyler, we got a lot of big spreads to navigate this week. Like I said, 10 years ago, I don't even think. I just take the points and move it along. This new NFL, with the offenses, these blowouts are happening so much more often. You can't just reflexively take the points. And the Giants are not a team that I've been high on. If you watch the show, especially the one we do Monday where we recap, I haven't said a lot of nice things about the Giants so far this season. So, I mean, if there's a big spread that I want to lay it with, it's probably the Cowboys in that high-powered offense that I can trust the most, especially a total of 44.5. How are you approaching this game?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. If we're going to lay it in any of those games, it's got to be this one. You look at the COVID list for the Giants, Kadarius Toney, John Ross, a couple linebackers in the corner. So a couple of weapons on offense. It just leaves Golladay out there with Saquon. I'm not sure who's going to be playing quarterback in this one. Daniel Jones still banged up. Mike Glennon also banged up. They're talking about Jake Fromm might play. So
I'd rather
lay it here with Dallas. And I also like the Giants team total under 16.5 because I can see Dallas's defense just being all over him in the backfield, causing him troubles.
What do you think of the Micah Parsons as defensive player of the year talk? Do you agree with that?
He's in the top 3 in odds, but he has had a great season, but they're going to give it to one of the top guys like Myles Garrett or TJ Watt or even Aaron Donald if he puts his name right back up in that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be impressed with what Micah Parsons has done so far. Another opportunity for him to show out in the Big Apple this weekend. Let's see. They flex that Packers game. You're not going to trick me this time, bookmaker. So we're going to stay on the morning Pacific slate, afternoon for you guys on the East Coast. Tennessee Titans. This is a pick against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yinzers must be up in arms that you aren't favored here, Tyler, right? Against a Tennessee Titans team that has definitely fallen off since the loss of Derrick Henry. They were able to mitigate that, right? Got a couple big losses, a couple big wins while he was out. Then A.J. Brown left, and, Tannehill has been struggling. I think he only has, 3 touchdowns to go to 5 interceptions the last 3 weeks. So he's definitely taken a hit without his best receiver and his best running back. But you are more plugged in to the Pittsburgh Steelers than most people. You and Twatty have great information when it comes to this team. And so tell me, with all your inside info, what do you think of the Steelers this week?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's calling it a weird spot where maybe they pick up the win and keep their playoff hopes alive.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tennessee's secondary is just going to be causing Ben problems this whole game. I think he's going to throw a couple picks in this one. His interception prop is -110 for over a half. I think that's definitely worth the bet. I think he's definitely going to throw one here into his coverage. Chase Claypool's out of control from that locker room. They have troubles everywhere with this team right now.
What's Claypool doing? I didn't see that.
You didn't see the end of the Vikings game with 30 seconds left? He got the first down on 4th down. He was celebrating.
Oh, that. Yeah, I did see that. And then,
that's been a big deal for the whole week. So I like Tennessee in the spot to get the job done. And Pittsburgh's run defense has just been abysmal. Dante Foreman's going to run all over this defense.
Interesting. So you like Tennessee Titans get it done, huh?
Yep. It's going to be an ugly one, but I think they get it done.
Tyler, this is tough for me. I like these kind of old school tough guy coaches, right? And this is 2 of the epitome, right? Just the tough guys, right? Tomlin, Vrabel. I hate having to choose. These are 2 teams that I do like to back with them facing off. But I'll join you there and take the Titans, especially since I know how plugged in you are with the Steelers and the ups and downs that team has experienced this year. Oh, can't wait to talk about this one, Tyler. The Houston Texans are +4.5. heading to Jacksonville, but that is not the story. He kicked the kicker, man. What are you doing kicking a kicker? Urban Meyer is gone. Ding dong, the witch is dead. That's got to be a boost for this Jacksonville team, right? if he is as bad as they say he was, I'm sure they're going to be so motivated to go out and prove to the world that the coach, was the problem and not the players. Tyler, am I being too simplistic with his handicap?
No, I mean, he is bad. I can't believe he kicked the kicker. Like, how you kick your own kicker? Like, that's his job to kick. But to be honest, Brett, I can't bet this game. Like,
that's fair too.
I tried getting involved on some James Robinson props last week after they spoke out and wanted him more of like a workload in the offense, and he got 3 rushes for 7 yards. So like, I just can't do anything with this team until they show me life. Now, this could be the spot where they rear up and get a W, but I just can't do it. Like, if I'm going to play anything in this game spread, it's going to be Houston money line plus 170. Jacksonville shouldn't be 2-1 favorites.
All right, and I'll get you there. I think that probably too many, people like me that are just casual observers just see that and just assume they're going to get a coach bump. I remember when I was working, you get rid of a manager you don't like or supervisor you don't like. The first thing you want to do is be successful to show everyone that, hey, we weren't the problem. The guy that we didn't like was. So we'll see that. Kyle Alexander's got a question about first touchdown bets. But, hey, Kyle, instead of doing the best bets for Sunday this week at the very end of the show, we'll have Tyler give out some of the first touchdown props and the best ones. So we will circle back to Thursday Night Football right at the end and send you guys off with some bets, some winners to cash. Rye Cape wants Dougie P in Jacksonville. Man, that would be good. I kind of want him here in Las Vegas for the Raiders as well. But, hey, I agree with you, man. Get that guy working with Trevor Lawrence. That could be fantastic. Doug Peterson, I felt, got unfairly scapegoated. I don't know if that's a word, but I'll use it as a word. In Philadelphia, when I thought Howie Roseman was the real problem, right? I mean, how can you coach when your GM's just constantly flubbing first-round picks left and right, If they would have done those picks, I think Peterson would have been successful. I think he's got a great opportunity wherever he goes, and his services will be in demand. So I wanted to be square with the Jaguars. Tyler's talking me out of it. He says it's a no play or to take the Texans money line.
I just can't bet that team right now. I just can't.
I mean, if there's any week to bet them, it's got to be this week, right?
Yeah, it wouldn't, would it surprise you if they go out and still lose by like 20?
No.
Yeah, their offense is still bad. It's still Lawrence by himself with James Robinson. Your best receiver. You're
not big on Marvin Jones Jr. and Laviska Shenault?
No, they all stink. Unless DJ Chark was walking back on the field, then maybe he has legitimate target, but he has no one to throw the ball to either.
All right. So, Tyler, I'm a little more versed on this one because I did plenty of research on it on Monday. I wrote an article about it. The Arizona Cardinals, minus 13, headed to Detroit to take on the Lions. Tyler, you can call me square, but I took the Cardinals here, man. They're coming off a loss. It's just a great matchup for them. I just had no idea how this just basically beleaguered secondary is going to keep up. Now, I know Hopkins is out for a while. Does that even matter, though? I got Moore, Kirk, and AJ Green here. What do you think, man? Am I being too square? Should I pull a Joey Work and take the points here? Because I really like the Cardinals in this spot.
No, I mean, I agree with you. I think the Cardinals are the spot here. Detroit's just banged up so bad at this point.
They got their win, right?
Yeah, they got their win. They got a tie. They're done for the year. I don't think Swift will be back for this game. They said he didn't practice yesterday, so maybe a little wait and see on his news because I could see him maybe backdooring you late in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at these, the game props for this one, Arizona's team total touchdowns over 3.5. I think they're good for 4 touchdowns in this game spread. I think they're going to go 3 in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, that completely correlates with my handicap that Arizona gets out early and really puts this one away. And Detroit, they looked pretty flat against Denver last week, right? And if you let Denver put up that many points on you, obviously that was another emotional game for the Broncos. But regardless, I think the Cardinals are going to have that same emotion coming off the loss.
You're going to put this high-powered offense inside a dome. They're just going to go up and down the field on this team.
Yeah, so I like the Cardinals here, and it sounds like you agree.
And I know everyone's going to say, it's a bad team. It could be a letdown spot for them. After you lose the game, you just lost the sole possession of the 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have letdown spots for the rest of the year with this much time left.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a letdown spot either. I think that team's going to be focused, ready to go, and really looking to make a statement. All right, now I can go to the afternoon. The Atlanta Falcons. These spreads are huge this week, Tyler.
This one doesn't make sense to me.
All right, let's break it down. Let me introduce it. Plus 9.5 for the Atlanta Falcons, heading to Frisco to take on the Niners, a team that you really like. They're laying 9.5, though, on a total of 47. Why does it not make sense to you?
I mean, looking at it, like I'm pulling up the COVID list now for San Fran. I don't see anyone for them. There's just two guys on the report for Atlanta, but they're not big names. Let's look at the injury report for them. Because I just think it's way too many points. Like, what have the Niners showed us to be 10-point favorites? They just blew a lead against Cincy, let them come back in overtime. Atlanta's put up points against the Buccaneers multiple times. I know they didn't score in that second half recently, but they still put up 17. So pulling up the injury report now on them. I mean, 9.5 is a lot to be laying with this team. So I kind of like the Falcons here. I could see Kyle Pitts having a decent game here and just keeping it close. And remember a couple of years ago when San Fran went to the Super Bowl, Atlanta beat them that year in a weird game. Right. So it's like Atlanta might be that team that has their number, how the Raiders have Pittsburgh's number.
Yeah, that is weird, huh? Who was that guy? Bruce Gradkowski or whatever got the win in 2016.
Yeah, Terrell
You guys were awesome. Yeah. So, all right. Well, hey, I'm all for taking the points, and Joey Work, I'm sure. I don't know if he's live in the chat, but he'll be watching later, and he'll be happy that we're taking the points in this one. Any thoughts on the total?
Lean over. I could see a ton of points scored in this one. 46 seems a bit short.
All right. So Tyler likes taking the points, and he likes taking the over with the Atlanta Falcons. We just talked about these two teams. The Cincinnati Bengals are +3, heading to Denver to take on the Broncos. This is another one I wrote about, so I feel a little more well-versed in this one here too. And, it's a really good offense versus a really good defense. And I think that's going to come down to how this game is decided, right? So, if Cincinnati's able to score against the Broncos defense, right, I don't necessarily trust the Broncos offense to keep up with them in a shootout. So if the Bengals can score and turn this into a shootout, I like their chances. And I mentioned it earlier, this is not the NFL that I grew up with. These rules are so slanted to offense. You can't touch these receivers. And I got 3 great options if I'm Joe Burrow. The only thing that I'm really concerned about is his hand, right? He hasn't been.
He's got a sprained, I believe, thumb or one of his fingers, I believe.
But otherwise, just look at the matchup. I just think that with those 3 options there, you got Joe Mixon. Even if he's not running the ball through the line, he's such a great dump-off option. Gives him so many ways to move down the field. I think this game does tune into a shootout, and I think the Bengals went straight up. I took the money line here. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't hate it. I think it's a coin flip game, but Denver at the altitude, I'm not sure how the weather will be because I know the weather in Denver's been nice this week, kind of like how it's been in Pittsburgh. It's like 60 degrees in the middle of December.
Yeah.
So maybe no bad weather there, which could favor Cincinnati a lot. But if this one gets ugly, I mean, Denver's defense is going to be in that backfield all over Burrow. He might not have time to get it to these receivers. He's really only going to have 2 of them this game spread because they're going to put Patrick Surtain on one of them, and he's been playing lights out all year.
But that's my point. It's like corners. If you have weapons, you can shut them down, right? I mean, because I can just avoid you. Like when we talk about who's more valuable, Aaron Donald or Jalen Ramsey. Well, I can avoid Jalen Ramsey's side of the field.
Yeah, you can't avoid the guy pushing your offensive lineman out of the way.
Yeah, so I mean that's why, and I agree with you. I mean, even if he takes Chase out, which is a possibility, but Chase is good, man. Chase is really good. I wouldn't be surprised if he were able to even.
He'll try and take out Higgins, I think.
Well, if that's the case, I like it even better. Give me Jamar Chase running wild all over that. I really like the Bengals here. The total is 44. What do you think?
I also could see Javonte and Melvin Gordon just running right through the Cincinnati defense all game.
Really? Because I figured the Cincinnati defense, they're better at stopping the run than they are stopping the pass.
Yeah, but they've just been so bad over the past couple of weeks. I could see them just getting gouged by this team.
Okay. All right. So, so you actually like the Broncos here? You're the opposite of me?
Yeah, I lean the Broncos side, but more like a wait and see on this game.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I mean, especially with all these COVID news, because you'd hate to take like the +3 and then those weapons I talk about get rolled out, right, on Saturday night. With everyone doing the Thanksgiving travel, it seems like, these outbreaks are running rampant. And if there's any advice we give, obviously we're giving out picks, we're giving out sides, totals, we'll do props tomorrow. But we could also advise you to, hey, be safe there, beating the market isn't the same as what it used to be 2 years ago, trying to get that CLV. Sometimes it is a little better to wait for all the information. Let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks, who are +5.5, heading to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. The Seahawks had the nice victory over the Niners a couple weeks ago, so obviously they're still tough in division. Rams tough in division as well, looking very good against the Arizona Cardinals. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, short spread, finally, after seeing double digits most of this show. Kind of leaning the Rams side here. I think the Rams are going to slowly start to pick it back up going into the playoffs. But I also still think they're one of like the teams on the outside looking in at that top 4. But the Seahawks have been so bad. I think the number's too short. I think it should be closer to 7. So give me the Rams here -5.5. I think they're going to go up and down the field on them here.
I love it. I was big on the Rams, right? Jay and I were big on the Rams before the season started. So it looks like they're rounding into form at the right time. Just another side question. Do you think Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson, do you think either or return next season, or is this the last hurrah for both these guys?
Maybe one comes back, but I could see one either if they're going to try and keep Russ over Pete Carroll, I think. Like they'll fire Pete Carroll, go get a new coach, and try and keep Russ at all costs.
Yeah, I wonder if that's enough for Russ to say, because even with Pete Carroll gone, I mean, we talked about Howie Roseman missing in the draft. The Seahawks have missed in the draft too, and then they gave up those picks for Jamal Adams. So, they don't even have a first-round pick coming in this year. He might want to leave no matter what. So that'll be something for us to keep an eye on going into the offseason. And I also think how they perform over these last couple of games, will pretty much decide. I mean, if they get blown out these last 3 or 4 games, I think he's out the door for sure. So the team, and their front office coaching staff definitely has a incentive to not just pack it in for the year. That pick's going to the Jets, right? So it doesn't even matter if they're top 10, right? I mean, they have no incentive to tank, right?
Yeah, they have no incentive.
Yeah, so we will see.
I think the Jets right now are sitting on like picks like 5 and 6.
Yeah. So if they can't turn it around, with these picks, but hey, as a Raiders fan, I've seen it. Just because you got those picks doesn't mean you're going to be good. You got to hit on them. You can't draft Josh Jacobs and Damon Arnett and expect to turn your franchise around. Let's talk about what is like the premier matchup here of the afternoon. But, that's kind of changed because the Ravens are having issues right now too. Not sure who's going to play quarterback. Packers are -5.5 heading to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. What have you heard about Lamar Jackson and who's going to be active for this Ravens team?
I mean, they're still optimistic that he'll play. If he plays, I don't think he's going to be able to run much.
I mean, doesn't this line tell you that they think he's going to sit?
I think it'd be a little bit higher if he sat.
It'd be over 7. Well, I guess
yeah.
You're right. Okay.
I think they're trying to like fade it towards he's playing. But I just think Green Bay stomps them here. Baltimore's defense, they lost their best corner, Marlon Humphrey, to injury. Like, how are they going to stop these wide receivers? Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon should be able to gouge his defense also. And Green Bay's defense is getting their guys back. They're rounding into form. I'm not sure how Baltimore's going to score here. Give me Green Bay.
All right. And, pretty exciting game that might not be as exciting. Tyler, let us talk about the Sunday night game. Another huge spread. New Orleans Saints +10.5. Heading to Tampa to take on the Buccaneers. Buccaneers -10.5, total 46.5. 10.5 is a lot in a division game, Tyler.
Oh, yeah, it is. I partially lean towards taking the points, but the only worry here is I'd rather have Simeon as the quarterback than Taysom Hill. So I got to figure out who's going to play quarterback for this team first. The under, though, I love that look. The Saints are getting their guys back on defense. They always give Brady and these guys trouble.
That's true.
Tampa Bay's defense is rounding into form. I don't see the Saints putting up many points. Give me the under in this one spread.
Yeah, and Lattimore always does pretty well against Evans, right? I got Evans in a fantasy football league this week. Maybe send him to the bench. What do you think?
I mean, I'd probably still leave him in there. He still has the touchdown advantage on other guys. It might catch you a goal, like a red zone one, a 1 yard little fade.
Yeah. So, all right. That should be a lot of fun. And I told Kyle that we'd circle back. So let's go ahead and do that because I don't think we will be live tonight. So, those first TDs, Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets have been doing great on first TDs. But Tyler, I've been doing NBA all day. I'm going to put it on you. Can you give us some first touchdown looks? Kyle Alexander thinks that Eckler's got to be one of them. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at him. He's plus 550. That's a bit short. I try to get not fancy with it, but try to find a bit more value. He's the highest favorite on the board. He's also banged up, so I could see maybe he doesn't get as much work as he normally does. Travis Kelce at 8.5 to 1 isn't a bad look. That's a pretty high number for him.
Right.
I know he only has 1 or 2 touchdowns on the year, but he is due. This is a spot where he could catch one in a division game.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Mike Williams scoring an anytime touchdown. He's 12-1 to score the first. I don't hate that. And then Justin Herbert, 25-1. There's the little play where he fake hands it off to Eckler and tucks it and goes in. I think that could be in play here tonight. So I like that one a lot. And the only other guy I was looking at was Clyde Edwards-Helaire at 7.5-1. So those would be our guys spread.
All right. Usually we go 2 and 2 though. Take out a Charger. Who do we want to take out? I say we take out Williams.
Yeah.
I say we go Herbert and Eckler.
I was going to leave out Eckler. Eckler. That's me personally.
So you want to go Williams and Herbert?
I'm going Williams and Herbert and Edwards-Helaire and Kelsey.
All right. Well, that is it. And guys, we will be back with the prop show tomorrow. And that's really Tyler's specialty. Unfortunately, it might be a quick show because we are not sure what lines are actually going to be posted, right? And I mean, the books are navigating this just like we are, and I think that some of them are going to play it safe. I personally would probably just put them up at low limits and let sharp guys like Tyler kind of dictate the market for me before I open them up more. But we will see exactly what they decide to do. But I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us, watching, jumping in the chat, and of course, always being supportive. If you're a Run Pure member, you're in the Discord, giving the props to Tyler when he's doing well. And of course, on Twitter, we're getting plenty of nice messages as well when Tyler is giving out those winners. So, hey, we've been having a lot of fun. I've been giving out the NBA winners. Tyler has definitely crushed the NFL as well. So we appreciate all the support that you guys have been giving us. And it really, motivates us to keep working hard and keep giving these winners to you. Remember, if you're not already a member, become a member of Run Pure Bets by heading over to runpurebets.com. Use the promo code BETS25 off. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends. Tyler, anything else before we sign off?
Yeah, I finally figured out why that Browns game got pulled off the board earlier, spread.
Why wasn't?
Case Keenum test positive for COVID-19. Who the hell's playing quarterback for them now?
So I should have bet the Raiders right when you said it, huh?
Yeah, I'll say that's probably going to be like -3.5 now.
I mean,
if the game's even played, they might postpone it.
Okay, let's be honest here, right? The NFL, it's a league. It's based on entertainment, right? I want to be entertained. Give me Johnny Manziel. Bring him back. Come on, give me some Johnny football.
Yep.
No, I don't know who they're. I'm sure they have a third string practice quarterback on the roster, but I don't know who it is. Do you?
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah. Wow. Kyle's saying that Herbert is 31-1 on FanDuel.
I like that. I was using
DK's
DK's lines. That's where I got the 25-1. So if you got 31-1, I like that even better.
Thank you, Kyle, for joining that. And I think you're right. That little fake handoff. That Herbert's a big boy, man. Right, 6'5", 6'6", right?
He could tuck it and go.
Yeah, I mean, he's not Tim.
Well, I mean, he's not the worst third stringer spread. He's played before. Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins can hand the ball off to Nick Chubb.
Yeah, that's true. I remember him as the Niners when he was on the Niners, though, and they would be all excited when he came in. And I think Shanahan was kind of big on him. I can't remember what school he went to, right? But he's, you could tell that he really wanted to develop him, and he just never really got there. But hey, there's a defense you want to make your debut against. Give me this fractured Las Vegas Raiders defense. Yep. It doesn't seem to be playing with each other anymore. Oh, also, we should get the odds on this. What are the chances? Oh, is it in Las Vegas? No, it's in Cleveland. Are they going to go ahead and dance on the logo again and make themselves look like idiots? What do you think?
No, they're not going to do that. They don't have that same hate for the Browns like they do the Chiefs.
How do you dance on the logo and then lose 48-9? I mean, it's just, honestly, they should just give Cleveland the win just because that was so embarrassing last week. So we'll see if these guys can get it back. There was rumors around here, and this is just, of course, the fans talking. It won't really happen. A lot of fans are saying, just play Mariota at this point. Like, what do we have to lose? Let's see what we've got there. So 2 teams in turmoil, one for good reason and one just because they're a terribly managed franchise. So now we know it could be Nick Mullins, and we'll take that information as we get ready for the prop show tomorrow. So guys, if you're subscribed to the channel, you will get notifications just so you know the schedule. Are you going to be on the NBA, or is it just going to be me and AP tomorrow?
It'll just be you and AP tomorrow.
Okay. So AP and I are going to take out.
I got some work to do navigating this NFL slate.
And that's fine, because we would rather give you the props winners. I spend so much time on NBA. I could do a show by myself. and really feel confident talking about every game. So we'd rather have you come in with the fresh information. Of course, AP is a great NBA bettor in his own right and a builder of the heat map, which if you're not a member of Run Pure Sports, you should be, just to get access to that. I've had a lot of not big wins, but I can at least min cash navigating that heat map. So can't wait to talk to AP about the NBA tomorrow. That will be at 3:30 Eastern. Tyler and I will be back at 5 p.m. Eastern. We're pretty much going to do the same thing we did today, except we'll be talking more about the props rather than the sides and totals. All this is brought to you by Run Pure Bet. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. Share the video with your friends and Run Pure.